are Charlie the Country Conservative and Brendan Statler from The Brendan Statler Show. Now on with the show.
Good evening, Patriots. I'm thrilled that you have joined us today for another episode of the Conservative Viewpoint. I'm your host, Charlie, the Country Conservative.
And I'm Brendan Statler of The Brendan Statler Show.
I had to turn that down for real quick. Today we're tackling an issue that has been on the forefront of American politics. Immigration, of course. Folks, let's cut through the noise and get to the heart of the matter. The Biden administration has faced intense scrutiny over its handling of the immigration. Critics argue they've turned a blind eye to border security, while others claim they simply are upholding a humanitarian value. That's a joke. But where's the balance? Let's rewind the tape. Remember when President Trump was in office? His approach was a clear-cut, enforce the law, secure the border, deported those who entered illegally. It was a no-nonsense stance that resonated with many conservatives. But now, the pendulum has swung. Under Biden, we've witnessed a shift. The administration's parole program allows Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans to stay in the U.S. for 2 years. They arrive at specified airports being paid for by you, the American taxpayers. But here's the kicker. The administration refuses to disclose which airports these migrants are flying into. So why the secrecy? Now, according to the Center of Immigration Studies, the Biden administration has not been forthcoming about the details. President Trump, in his victory speech, claimed that 325,000 people were flown in from parts unknown. But let's set the record straight. These migrants are randomly airlifted, and it's a structured process, one that raises eyebrows. Now we're going to talk about China, our economic rival, our enemy across the Pacific, has been flexing its muscle. They've warned the U.S. not to compete with them, especially in critical areas like technology and innovation. But America doesn't back down unless you have an administration like we have right now. But when Trump gets back into office, you will be guaranteed that we will thrive on competition, and he won't be bullied. So, my fellow conservative, here's the challenge. How do we uphold our values, secure our borders, and maintain our competitive edge? It's a tightrope walk, and the Biden administration must find its balance, but you know it won't. We can't sacrifice security for compassion, nor can we ignore the humanitarian crisis in our hemisphere. So stay tuned, folks. We'll dive deeper into these issues and make sure you get the unfiltered truth. And as always, on the conservative viewpoint, the truth always matters. And we are the trusted source of unfiltered analysis. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So I'm going to thank everybody for watching today. And for today is our first live stream on Wimpkin. Thank you all for coming. I hope you guys bring all your friends into and take a watch and enjoy our show.
Preview.
Okay, breaking news tonight. Fox News is reporting President Trump's classified documents case has been suspended indefinitely. The trial was set to begin on May 20th, but Judge Eileen Cannon of the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Florida postponed that date to Tuesday. In a filing Tuesday, Cannon said that due to the myriad and interconnected pretrial issues remaining and forthcoming, it would be imprudent and inconsistent with the court's duty to fully and fairly consider the various pending pretrial motions. The court therefore vacates the current May 20th, 2024 trial and associated calendar call to be reset by separate order following resolution of the matters before the court, consistent with the defendant's rights to due process and the public's interest in the fair and efficient administration of justice, Cannon wrote. Cannon went on to say, in filing, Cannon listed the dates of pretrial deadlines to manage pending discovery and disclosure matters and to adjudicate pretrial motions before the court. Now, this is a new story that just broke a few hours ago, so I haven't had much time to look into it and dissect it in great detail, but so far, this seems like a massive victory for President Trump. This seems like just every case, everything they try to throw at President Trump is just falling apart. Now, it appears with this case being suspended indefinitely, it looks very unlikely that Jack Smith is going to be able to take President Trump to trial before the presidential election that is coming up in November, and that is what his entire plan has been all along. So just looking at this as it stands now, this looks like very good news for President Trump.
Okay, it does. Here we go. Okay, now I'm sitting there. So like always, guys, I'm going to ask you to check out our Rumble pages. Mine is a country conservative, and Brendan's is the Brendan Statler Show. Don't forget to follow us. Give us a thumbs up. And don't forget to check out our other videos. You know, even the live streams, you can share those with your friends and family and even your liberal buddies. We got to get the truth out for people because November 5th general election is creeping up on us pretty quick. So we need your help to wake people up to see the truth and make sure they get out and vote Republican. Not that they're the total answer, remember that. So we always tell you that, but they are the ones that will get us back on track. So we'll get on with the show. Now, first, we're going to start off with, listen to this now. The DOJ threatens to sue Iowa if it acts on an immigration law that comes to you. This one comes to you from Newsmax. I'm doing what Harold wanted me to do yesterday because we can't actually publish the links in there, you know, during a live feed. So
right,
I'm going to make sure that I tell you guys where it's from so you guys can check it out and look it up for yourself. So you don't trust me. That's what we're here for. Remember, we're here for the truth. The first thing I'm going to let you do is I'm going to let you watch this video about this. And I can't believe the DOJ is actually fighting every state when it comes to illegal immigration. But we all know why. But take a look at this.
The United States Department of Justice is threatening to sue the state of Iowa.
It says the immigration law Governor Reynolds signed this spring criminalizing illegal reentry is unconstitutional. KCCI's Bo Bobin joins us now with reaction from the governor. Bo.
Well, Ben, the DOJ sent this letter to Governor Reynolds and Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird stating they will file a lawsuit against Iowa unless the state agrees to refrain from enforcing the law. Reynolds signed the law in April. It allows Iowa officers to arrest undocumented immigrants who have previously been deported. And if convicted, a judge could order them deported back into their home country. Officials at the DOJ say the law, quote, creates a separate state immigration scheme that intrudes into a field that is occupied by the federal government. It's similar to a law in Texas where the federal government was able to temporarily block enforcement while a lawsuit plays out. Governor Reynolds' office sent us a statement that reads, quote, the only reason we had to pass this law is because the Biden administration refused to enforce the laws already on the books. I have the duty to protect the citizens of Iowa. Unlike the federal government, we will respect the rule of law and enforce it. The League of United Latin American Citizens says they should leave this to the federal government.
the Attorney General for Iowa needs to act on this and make a strong recommendation to the governor that she cannot implement this law, that it needs to be removed.
Attorney General Brenna Bird also sent us a statement today with a message for the federal government that reads in part, Iowa will not back down and stand by as our state's safety hangs in the balance. If Biden refuses to stop the border invasion and keep our communities safe, Iowa will do the job for him. The DOJ says the state of Iowa has until Tuesday to agree to refrain from enforcing the law until they file the suit.
Now, the Biden administration has done nothing but fight states on every aspect of illegal immigration. Now they are suing Iowa because the Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds signed a bill into law that makes the states a crime to be in their state if you're an illegal criminal that had been previously denied admission and removed from the United States. So now what did the Biden administration do? They're going to sue everybody, because Iowa is a huge swing state and they want more delegates there so the Democrats can win in that state. That's the only reason they want it, so they can win and have these illegal immigrants in here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, it's sad that the governor even has to do this. This should go without saying. It is Joe Biden that is acting unconstitutionally. Here, I want to read this. Some of our loyal audience that watches us consistently have heard me read this before during one of our shows, but I'm going to read it again. This is Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, and it says, the United States shall guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government and shall protect each of them against invasion. This is an invasion. What we are seeing now, this is an invasion, and Joe Biden has done nothing to stop it. Matter of fact, he has created it. I mean, this is just unbelievable that you can sue states for protecting their borders. This is what the federal government should be doing. We shouldn't have to have Governor Reynolds and other governors, now Greg Abbott's another one in Texas, having to go to these measures just to keep illegal alien thugs out of our country. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous that we have to go through this. And it isn't just in border states now. Every state is a border state. These illegal criminals are in every single state. They're in your neighborhoods if you're watching. Guarantee you they are in your neighborhoods. It's just, once again, we bring this up quite a bit. Where is the action from the Republicans in the House? Because this is the easiest thing to get Joe Biden on. I just read it to you. This is directly out of the Constitution. Shall protect at each of them from invasion. This is an invasion. If this happened in any other nation, they would consider it an invasion. But instead, we can't call these people illegal. We can't say that they're criminals. We can't even call them immigrants anymore. We have to call them newcomers, and we have to put them up in fancy hotels in New York and give them all kind of free stuff on the taxpayers' dime. I mean, this is absolute lunacy where we're at this point.
Yeah, this is no different than the Biden administration suing Texas for protecting our borders and protecting their own people of Texas. These Democrats and Joe Biden, it is. It's the most pathetic individuals I've seen. And when you sue your own state for protecting what they won't protect, that's pathetic.
It's absolutely pathetic. And like I said, this is what the rest of the world sees. The rest of the world looks at what is happening in the United States, and they see this shit show that we are going through right now. This is why we are a joke on the world stage. You have all this in addition to Biden shitting his pants on live TV again the other day. This is why the rest of the world is laughing at us. When you have these kind of policies that is allowing an invasion, allowing terrorists into your country, and then you have the guy that at least has the title of president, but we know he's not president because he was installed. You have him suing states for just protecting their citizens and not allowing illegal immigrants, illegal criminal terrorists into the country, into their state, you have the guy that has the title president suing them. It's an absolute joke. Where we are at as a country right now is an absolute joke.
It's the truth. Now, look, we got people like Senator Vance. He decries Biden's opening Obamacare to migrants. This also comes to you from Newsmax. Joe Biden is planning on spending America's hard-earned money to cover health care costs for illegal criminals. So J.D. Vance, a Republican from Ohio, is trying to stop this. Now, I've got this short video for you, about 37 seconds, about Biden giving this Obamacare to these illegals. Take a look at this.
New this morning, President Joe Biden is extending Affordable Care Act coverage to include recipients of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. In a new federal regulation, the administration is modifying the definition of lawfully present, so DACA residents can get access to certain health care coverage. DACA allows undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children to live and work legally in the country. Health and Human Services estimate that 100,000 uninsured DACA recipients will likely take advantage of this new rule. It will take effect come November 1st.
Now, this is just another example of Joe Biden screwing everything up. He's caring more about illegal criminals and getting votes than caring about our own American citizens. Now, if you people can't see this, and I'm talking about you idiot liberals, go back to your basement, change your diapers, and start playing with your crayons and stay there, because that's where you belong.
Yeah, I think this is going to seriously backfire on Biden, and this is the reason why. We've all seen over the last few months the people in New York City that have been out protesting the fact that they're bringing all these illegal aliens into the city. And, you know, the fact that many New Yorkers in particular are struggling to get by because, you know, they tax the piss out of everything in New York, especially in New York City. They're struggling to get by, and they see these illegal aliens getting free handouts. And they see that many of these people that are coming in are part of terrorist groups. They're part of gangs like MS-13. And they don't want them in their neighborhood for obvious reasons. So this is going to backfire on Biden, because even in blue New York, you're going to have people that aren't necessarily conservatives, that aren't necessarily MAGA, going out and voting for Trump. And you're already starting to see evidence of that. Look at all the pro-Trump crowds that have popped up in New York when he makes appearances at a bodega or a sandwich shop or the fire department in New York, or he goes and meets with the workers there in New York. You know, there's massive pro-Trump crowds that are coming out in New York. A year ago, nobody would have thought that was possible. And you're starting to see this all over the nation. I'm telling you, Trump's campaign strategy, like I mentioned last night, has been absolutely brilliant. I think he should take it to the next level once he's able to travel a little more, when he's not tied up in these Moscow show trials in New York. He should make a stop in every liberal city: Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, even Pittsburgh. He should show up in all these cities and watch the amount of supporters that come out to support him. If you had Joe Biden go to each one of those cities right now, nobody would care. Well, hell, if Biden was just in Pittsburgh, he was at Sheetz and nobody cared. So there is no way this guy legitimately loses the election. There's no way that he loses and it's a legit election. I mean, this does not happen. But that's what I would really do if I were part of the Trump team. That's what I would suggest to him. Start making appearances in blue cities. And I'm telling you, you're going to see Democrats' heads explode, because they are freaking out seeing what has been happening in New York lately, and even places like Miami, where it's a large Hispanic population. Their heads are exploding right now. They never thought this was possible.
Nope. But unfortunately, we lost Wimpkin. And don't know why. It just shut off. But now this comes to you from Fox News. Former Trump official announces major deport them all initiative amid bid to flip crucial Senate seat. Now, former U.S. Ambassador to Iceland, Jeff Gunther, will spend $1 million of his own money on the Build the Wall, Deport Them All initiative, launching a major initiative to help end the crisis at the southern border amid his efforts to oust an incumbent Democrat that he's running for Senate seat in Nevada. And anybody out there you all need to support this guy and help him beat this idiot Democrat. And now Gunther said, I told you he'll spend $1 million of his own money, including developing a website reporting mechanism for everyday citizens to report suspicious activity. The money will also go towards an ad campaign to inform people across the Silver State about the initiative, which is expected to have more backers here in the near future. But you watch and see, somehow the Biden administration, they'll want to sue him because they don't care about American people. And you liberals need to wake up and see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Trump, on the other hand, wants to deport 20 million illegals. He vowed to deliver the largest mass deportation effort in the American history if he's elected again in November. Trump said that he would rely on mostly the National Guard to round up and remove undocumented migrants throughout the country. If they weren't able to, then he'd use other parts of the military, he said. With the crime growing through the roof and all these illegals getting more than our own citizens are getting in this country, I have no problem with this. But if you come here legally, and don't come here because the Democrats are trying to fix elections for the rest of the time. So, I'll take a job driving the bus. I'll go pick them up and I'll kick their asses out at the border. I have no problem doing that.
I'll do it for free.
Ain't no doubt. Now, if we can fix the southern border crisis, hopefully we can fix China and their threats to the U.S. too. But we've got to do one step at a time here. This border is way out of control and we can't do this anymore. And everything's becoming a border state, and even for China, because that Xi, whatever his name is, warns Blinken against vicious competition between U.S. and China. Where's that at? Yeah, and you know them; they're cowards, anyways. And this Chinese piece of shit leader keeps threatening the United States. Excuse me. And what does Biden do? Bends over and takes one up the rear every time they threaten us, because he's such a freaking coward. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's bought and paid for by China, and this is a thing that has been warned about for a while, about the Chinese possibly hacking U.S. infrastructure. That's what they say the next major pandemic is going to be, is a cyber pandemic. And I believe that is true. I don't know how many of you have watched the Netflix series. The name's escaping me, as I said, but Barack and Michelle Obama produced this film on Netflix, and the name's escaping me. Damn it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But it's about a cyber attack, and everybody just goes. There's mass hysteria, and it's just the whole country falls apart. Now, I find it awfully more than coincidental that they produced this film, and the director of this film actually said that Barack Obama had a large role in writing the script. Does Barack Obama know something that we don't know? Leave the World Behind. That's what the name of the series was called. It just came to me. Leave the World Behind. I know it's hard to support the Obamas in any way, but if you have not watched that film on Netflix yet, watch it. It will open your eyes. It'll scare the shit out of you if you think like I do, at least. I mean, that movie kind of freaked me out a little bit because I think that stuff is a real possibility. But I think that's the way that China will attack us if they attack us. They're not going to have soldiers on the ground and all this stuff. They're going to hack all of our infrastructure, and it's going to be cyber warfare. You know, they're going to knock out the internet, and they're just going to let us all kill ourselves through mass hysteria. Because if the internet and the power goes out, people will go nuts. They did I believe, was a dry run on this. This is what I believe, in Dearborn, Michigan, a handful of years ago. They cut out the internet in this little town of Michigan. Within the hour, there were people rioting because they could not access their money. They couldn't do anything. That is what will happen nationwide if that happens. And I believe that's a real possibility. And I think that's the way our adversaries would attack. So China is a serious threat, and they would be the ones to do that.
Well, Joe Biden lets them fly balloons over our country, over our military
Absolutely.
bases, take pictures, and he does nothing about it. He lets them buy up hundreds of thousands of acres of land in our country. And what's he do? Nothing. He lets thousands and thousands of these little Chinamen come in across our southern borders, and they disappear in our country. God only knows what they're doing. And what the Biden administration does? Nothing. Because that's what brings us to this next topic. And this pretty much goes on what Brendan just said, that China is creating an infrastructure to attack us. This also comes to you from Newsmax. That's for you, Harold. Reports of Chinese migrants entering the country illegally. Just China is creating an infrastructure to attack us when the Chinese leader gives the word. Because we've got over 26,000 of these little Chinamen have come over here so far. Now, I've been saying this for months and months, seeing about how many of these little Chinamen that are military-age men who have come into this country. They pointed out two specific incidences. In Red Lake, California, an illegal People's Republic of China Thai biolab was discovered in December of 2022 with at least 20 pathogens and almost 100 mice that had been genetically engineered to spread disease. In January, migrants from China were found taking target practice with pistols and in one case with a sniper rifle. So it doesn't take much imagination to have these migrants go to the secret Chinese facility, pick up the mice, and spread the next pandemic around the United States. Now, I've been saying this whole time about this, and these people crossing our southern border, buying up all the land. Does this actually wake you liberals up? Or is it going to take a death and destruction for you guys to wake up and see the Biden administration and the Democrats don't give two shits about any of us?
Yeah, and it's definitely plausible to think that the Chinese would do this because it makes sense to think that the Chinese are involved in the invasion at the southern border. So, of course, these people, I believe that's really where the fentanyl is coming from. I don't believe that most of it is coming from the cartel. I mean, some is coming from the cartel. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying.
Well,
but I believe a large portion of it is coming from the Chinese Communist Party. They want Americans to die. They're killing off Americans, and they're going to be bringing the next pandemic virus. It's going to be coming over our southern border, and it's going to be completely ignored by these people in Washington because it is all by design. They know what they are doing. This is all intentional, everything that they are doing. Well, yeah. They want Americans to die. The country is being destroyed from within. If you have not woken up to that fact yet, there is absolutely no hope for you if you can't see that to this point.
Yeah, China is sending the fentanyl. They make the chemicals for the fentanyl. They send it to the cartels. Cartels brewing the shit up, bring it through.
That's right.
All these articles have going hand in hand, because this next one also goes in with this. And the Trump former,
That's his age. That's his age, Charlie. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, Biden, read it.
Yeah, I had to kind of, I wasn't even looking at it. I was looking at the wrong place. McMaster warns of possible World War III. Now retired Lieutenant Colonel H.R. McMasters, who served as National Security Advisor for President Trump, cautioned in an interview on Thursday that the United States, United Kingdom, and other nations stand on the brink of World War III. Now, the McMasters, is 61 years old, said that Washington and London should increase their spending to 4% of gross domestic product to defense, double the current NATO requirement. He suggests investing into missile defense systems akin to the Israeli Iron Dome to address escalating crisis. With Russia threatening nuclear war on us, and the UK and China threatening us and Taiwan, this sounds like a good idea, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Because what are we going to do? We're just going to sit around because Joe Biden wants to give all of our weaponry away to Ukraine, so we have nothing left in here, and they're already having trouble repurposing and getting our stockpile back up. So what the hell? This is done on purpose.
It's absolutely done on purpose, and of course we're on the cusp of World War III. I mean, look at all the tension throughout the world. We got the Russia-Ukraine war, and now we got Israel and Hamas. This is all under Joe Biden's watch, by the way.
Yep.
And the United States, this is the most dysfunctional that the United States has been throughout its entire history. You know, we are in a very vulnerable position. We are not a strong country at the moment. It pains me to say that because I'm a very patriotic person, but this is not a strong nation because of the leadership we have. So of course we're on the cusp of World War III because these other nations are starting these wars that we just happen to be funding, by the way. But they're doing stuff they wouldn't normally do because they know damn well the guy sitting in the White House right now isn't going to do anything about it. Nobody respects him. Nobody fears him. So they're doing everything they could possibly do right now because they are anticipating Donald Trump getting back in the White House this election. And that is why everything is just so out of control right now. Absolutely, we're on the cusp of World War III. And we have the worst possible person that we could possibly have occupying the White House at this particular moment.
Yeah, for sure. Don't you have a couple articles that you still needed to go over?
Yeah, I have a few. Let me open them up here real quick. Okay, let me see what I can. Okay, we'll go with this one real quick. This is also from Fox News. Hamas sympathizers could be added to list that includes terrorist suspects if GOP bill becomes law. Legislation is being introduced on Tuesday that would put terrorist supporters, including those backing Hamas and those who call for violence against Jews, on the no-fly list as anti-Israel campus protests, I prefer to call them riots, engulf colleagues across the country. Senator Roger Marshall, Republican from Kansas, is introducing the No Flights for Terrorists Act, which will put individuals on the Transportation Secretary administration's no-fly list if they have encouraged violence against Jews, pledged support for terrorist groups, or have been disciplined by higher education institutions for such conduct. Terrorist organizations are designed as such by the Secretary of State and include Hamas, the Islamic Revolution Guards Corps, Palestine Islamic Jihad, and the Palestine Liberation Front. Currently, the no-fly list is a small subset of the terror watch list that contains the information of the known or suspected terrorists. I hope to God this bill passed, because if you were supporting terrorism, you are a terrorist yourself. Yep. If you were able to support the acts that these people have done, you were capable of doing it yourself.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it won't go anywhere in the Senate right now.
No, it won't. But it's good to at least see Republicans having some kind of backbone, I guess. I mean, I guess it could just be window dressing if you look at it, but
Yeah.
you know, they set the bar so low. I'm just happy to see some type of action against this stuff. I mean, they should have done it immediately, and there are far more important things they could be doing too. But yeah, hopefully this bill pass. I doubt it will because the Democrats in the Senate will never vote for it because most of them are Islamic terrorists themselves.
Yeah. And that's when we're going to get into this with Netanyahu. Ending Gaza war now would keep Hamas in power. And this comes to you from the Newsmax world. Now, I'm going to let you watch this video. It's only 56 seconds, and this is Netanyahu talking about how he cannot stop this war, and I can't blame him. Watch this.
לאורך המשא ומתן, ישראל הפגינה נכונות ללכת כברת דרך משמעותית, כברת דרך שתוארה על ידי מזכיר המדינה בלינקן ואחרים כנדיבה במיוחד. אבל בעוד שישראל הראתה נכונות זו, החמאס נשאר מבוצר בעמדותיו הקיצוניות, ובראשן הדרישה להוציא את כל כוחותינו מהרצועה, לסיים את המלחמה, להשאיר את החמאס על כנו. מדינת ישראל איננה יכולה לקבל זאת. איננו מוכנים לקבל מצב בו גדודי החמאס יצאו מהמחילות שלהם, ישתלטו על עזה מחדש, ישקמו את התשתיות הצבאיות שלהם, ויחזרו לאיים על אזרחי ישראל ביישובי העוטף, בערי הדרום, בכל חלקי המדינה. כניעה לדרישות החמאס תהיה תבוסה איומה למדינת ישראל. זה יהיה ניצחון עצום לחמאס, לאיראן, לכל ציר הרשע.
Now, you can't blame this man, because it would be nothing different than what Joe Biden did in Afghanistan with that disastrous withdrawal and leaving the Taliban in charge of Afghanistan. You don't let terrorists remain, because we all know what's going to happen. They will attack again if you don't put an end to them, period. So I don't blame Netanyahu for protecting Israel and his people from these terrorists.
No, I don't either, and I wasn't able to see most of the subtitles on our view. I'm sure our viewers saw them all, but so I can't really speak directly to what he said because, of course, I don't speak the language. But he's absolutely right in the fact that he can't let up on this war. If you let up on this war, Hamas wins. I mean, seriously, just if you disagree with this, just look at this from their perspective. If this happened to our country, if we were attacked, wouldn't you not want to kill every single person that was involved in attacking our nation? That's exactly what we wanted to do after 9/11. This was Israel's 9/11. And the fact that people want Israel to back off this, I mean, it's unbelievable to me. Israel did not instigate this conflict. This was the Hamas terrorists that instigated this conflict. So why is it that Israel should be the ones to back off this and go the peaceful direction? For one, they wouldn't be going the peaceful direction when you think about it, because then your enemies win. But it's just unbelievable that people can make this argument. It was Hamas that attacked Israel. So why is it that Israel should not respond? I mean, that's just stupid for somebody to say otherwise.
Yeah, no kidding. So now that where it comes to Al Jazeera for Israel. This also comes from Just the News. Israel orders local Al Jazeera offices to close immediately. Now, according to Netanyahu, it's time to remove the Hamas mouthpiece from our country. After the government had a vote, the Israeli government unanimously voted Sunday to close all local Al Jazeera offices, a quarter-owned broadcasting system. Effective immediately, the quarter was mediating ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced a decision on X, formerly known as Twitter, calling the Arabic and English language network that incitement channel. They said that Al Jazeera reporters harmed Israeli security and incited against soldiers. So Netanyahu said after the vote, according to the Associated Press, It's time to remove the Hamas mouthpiece from our country. And I say, great job, guys. That's what should happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Should have happened a long time ago, honestly, when you think about it.
Yep, that's for sure. Now, I'm not going to show you that video because it's like he's same thing and it's all the subtitles on there. But we'll get into the Lebanon decides they want to get into this now, and they fired dozens of rockets towards Israel in one of the largest attacks since this war started. There's been no reports of any injuries since the Lebanon attack, but at least 7 people were reported injured from the Hamas barrage. About 65 rockets were fired from Lebanon into Israel on Sunday. Now, the Israeli defense said, marking one of the largest barrages from Lebanon since the war started in the Mideast. Why the hell do these idiots got to get involved in this? It makes no sense to me. While it's unclear who's responsible for the latest attack, earlier in the day, the terrorist group Hezbollah fired another 20 rockets at them. Meanwhile, the IDF said that at least 10 projectiles were fired Sunday by Hamas in Gaza, reported from the Rafah area, which we found out today that Israeli defenses took over the Rafah. Now, this is just going to piss off all these brain-dead college kids in here, and they're going to protest even more. I don't know what they're teaching them in there, and then I think they're, what do they call it? Indoctrinating them?
Oh yeah, that's exactly what's happening, because this is the propaganda that's been fed to college students for far too long, and you see that now Columbia University in particular, and I'm sure more are going to follow, have bowed to the pro-terrorist mob, and they've actually canceled their commencement coming up. Now, I think this is absolutely despicable, because many of these graduates had their high school graduation taken away from them because of the China virus. Now they're going to have their college graduation taken away from them because of a pro-terrorist mob. But like I said before, the good will always prevail. We're seeing all these pro-American counter-protesters stand up against these pro-terrorist groups like the Palestine crowd and even the Antifa crowd. I mean, it is a great thing to see, but it's a shame that these people at the top of these institutions are bowing to the terrorists once again. And it's because many of them are terrorists, and George Soros is funding this, who's also a terrorist, in my opinion, and many other opinion watching, I'm sure. So it's not really surprised that we're seeing this. I mean, it's disgusting.
Well, and this comes at the same time that the Biden administration and the White House put U.S. ammo shipment on hold to Israel. This also comes from Newsmax. Seems pretty strange now that Biden administration puts on hold a shipment of American-made ammunition that was meant to go to Israel last week amid concerns over the Israeli invasion. And so what the hell's going on there? So it just shows the Biden administration how they flip-flop between Israel and then going back to the terrorists in Gaza and supporting them. This is just like Biden's dementia. He can't remember who he is one day to the next. And that's what he's doing with Israel and Gaza.
No, and this is all to buy votes, like I've talked about before. They don't want to come out and be full-blown terrorist supporters because they have a lot of Jewish donors that donate money to them. But at the same time, there's a large wing of the Democrat Party, the hardcore Democrat voters that are pro-terrorist themselves. So they're trying to play both sides. They don't want to lose their money and they don't want to lose their votes. So they're kind of stuck in the middle of this. And, actually, the more I see this, it's actually a beautiful thing to see, because the left is starting to eat themselves. This is actually good what we are seeing now, believe it or not. The left is starting to eat themselves, and I say we let them do it. It's absolutely great to see them go after each other, and eventually they're all just going to go away. I'm telling you. This is a great thing what we are seeing the pro-terrorist wing of the Democrat Party and the Jewish donor wing, which it's a very large class, believe it or not. And most Jewish donors, the rich Jewish class of the country, tend to lean more liberal. Not in all cases, but in most cases. So it's nice to see this this situation that the Biden team has found themselves in. It's absolutely great.
No doubt. Now we're gonna switch to Ukraine, because this is something I wanted to show you yesterday when time wasn't on our side. But another Ukrainian official was caught stealing the United States taxpayer money that was supposed to be used for war efforts, but instead they're stealing it. Now, a numerous amount of Ukrainian officials have been caught stealing money, on top of Zelensky stealing U.S. taxpayer money. So the other officials say, well, if he could do it, why can't we do it? Now, this first video I'm going to show you, it's about 29 seconds long. And this is of Biden saying that they are out of money for Ukraine, for his money laundering country. So take a look at this one first.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration sent Congress an urgent warning about the need to approve billions of dollars in military and economic assistance to Ukraine. They say the country's effort to defend itself against Russia may stop without it. But a letter from the Office of Management and Budget said the U.S. will run out of money to send weapons and assistance to Ukraine by the end of the year. President Biden seeks almost $106 billion in aid for Ukraine, Israel, and other needs. But he and his administration face growing skepticism about the amount of assistance for Ukraine from lawmakers.
Now, he wants to sit there and he wants to tell you about we're out of money. But now after this, we find out that Zelensky has bought 2 yachts. So I'm going to let you check out this next video. It's about 1 minute 38 that he talks about buying these yachts with U.S. taxpayer money. Like that? Watch this.
It's time now for Truth or Fake, our daily fact-checking segment, and I'm joined by Catalina Marchant-Diabro. Welcome to the program, Catalina. Now, today we're asking the question, did the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky buy 2 luxury yachts with Western aid money? Is this true or fake?
At least that's what many pro-Russian accounts claim on social media, as President Zelensky is accused of buying 2 yachts with Western aid money. Let's take a look at the claims right here. Recent reports have surfaced implicating Ukrainian President Zelensky and his close associates Boris and Sergei Shefir in the alleged purchase of 2 luxury yachts called Lucky Me and My Legacy for a staggering combined value of $75 million. This information is also shared by others accounts on X. For instance, this account called Brainless Partisans, or by UK's right-wing Heritage Party leader David Curtin, accounts known to regularly share pro-Russian information on social media. And as proof for these claims, these accounts are sharing the alleged sales agreement for both yachts. Here's the one for Lucky Me, allegedly sold to Boris Shafir for $25 million on October 18th. And here's the sales agreement for that one was for My Legacy, and for Lucky Me, the one for $25 million, and My Legacy at $50 million sold on October 25th. Transactions reportedly validated, as you can see right here, by the Mediterranean Yacht Brokers Association.
Now, you believe this? That's ridiculous. Now, we're going to keep sending the money over to them for him to go and buy yachts?
Yeah, this is exactly where your money is going. I mean, you can no longer be pro-American and pro-Ukraine. You can't be. If you still fly a Ukrainian flag at your house, I suggest you pick up and move there right now.
Yep.
You cannot be on both sides anymore. This is absolutely ridiculous. We have sent a ridiculous amount of money to Ukraine, and this is what they're doing with our money. If he has money to buy these damn yachts, he has enough to buy weapons to defend his country, assuming that everything they're saying about the war is true. I tend to have my doubts because the media has been so dishonest with us over the last handful of years. Yeah. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. There is no way you could justify giving more money to Ukraine. And it's not just Democrats. There are plenty of Republicans that have voted to give more money to this shithole nation that honestly, I'm not a supporter of Putin. I'm not pro-Russian, no matter how much the left wants to say that we as Trump supporters are pro-Russian. But the more I hear about Ukraine, the more I hope Russia takes them down. That's just my opinion. Those of you watching might differ. It doesn't matter. But what is happening in Ukraine is absolutely despicable. We have been lied to. Every American right now is struggling just to get by. And we're sending billions and billions of dollars to this shithole nation. And this piece of shit over in Ukraine is buying expensive yachts. And they're laughing at every single one of us. And it is all because of Joe Biden and the DC swamp.
You're exactly right. And I agree with you on that. We should not be sending any more money over there at all.
No more. They should be paying that money back with interest.
Yep, and they're not. So it's outrageous, and I'm sick of everything that goes on here. And that's why we're doing these videos. And that's why we ask you guys, to check out our Rumble pages. Mine, again, is the Country Conservative. Brendan's is the Brendan Statler Show. Go on, check out our videos. Share them with your friends and families, your liberal buddy idiots, and wake their asses up. And even you can go to Twitter or X. I'm Country Conservative Air. What are you on Twitter?
My name on there is the Brendan Statler Show. My handle is Let's Go Brendan _5.
So go there, check it out. Follow us. Give us a thumbs up in Rumble. That helps our channels grow. We got to get the truth out to people. So that's all the time we have for tonight. I want to thank you all for tuning into the Conservative Viewpoint and ask you again about checking out our Rumble pages, because November general election is right around the corner and we need to get the people out to vote. And with your help, we can do that.
Absolutely.
So remember, listeners, the conversation doesn't end here. Tune in tomorrow night as we continue our exploration of political landscape. And as always, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay conservative. Thank you for joining us on the Conservative Viewpoint, and you all have a good night.
You guys have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Until next time, God bless.
Night, everyone.